This week on The Digital Coffee, 3-minute long videos on TikTok. Instagram is evolving into something completely different, and Twitter is considering letting you tweet a small group of friends. All that and more after this. Good morning, and welcome to The Digital Coffee. This is your weekly dose of digital marketing and social media news for small business. My name is Amanda Webb, and you are very welcome to the show. If you are watching on Facebook and you leave a comment, I will send you a copy by direct message of the Digital Coffee newspaper. So if you're wondering what to comment, there is a question of the week, which you may have spotted already. Do you like seeing weight loss ads? Do you think they're okay? Or do you think they should be banned? I'd love to know your thoughts on that. And if you have no thoughts on that, I would also love to know what you're drinking right now. Is it tea? Is it coffee? Are you waiting until the show is over like I do to sit for your coffee? Because if you think I'm a little bit energetic now, you should see me after coffee. Or you could just say hi. That's fine. I'd also love to see you if you're on YouTube. There should be a comment pinned to the top of the chat and in the description that will tell you how to get hold of your copy of The Digital Coffee. And I can see we've got Lee here, who is having a lazy day at home and drinking coffee. Good morning to Sylvia, who has no coffee. Like me, just like me. And I've done it again. I've got a new setup. So I'm bound to make a few mistakes today. I'm just putting that out there. For those of you who are interested, I am now using my phone as a webcam. I am going to buy a new webcam because I'm just no longer happy with the quality of my old one. I want sharper videos. So you will be seeing more of my skin imperfections today and in the future. So moving on, we have got a lot of news for you this week, and one really big piece of news that I think you'll be interested in.
Hi, I'm Kyra Fingleton from Glamping Under the Stars, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Instagram is no longer a square photo sharing app. That is what Instagram boss Adam Mosseri said in a video statement. He says that Instagram is about to make some big changes. Here's what he says. He says, the future of Instagram looks quite different. He talked about it being more video focused. He talked about it being more immersive, full screen, mobile first video. Read that vertical video. He's going to show more full screen video, full screen in the feed on Instagram. So we should see reels start popping up in the feed. And this means it's turning into TikTok. And unsurprisingly, a lot of Instagram users are quite upset by this news. They've spent years putting together their beautiful Instagram grids and their Instagram strategy, and this is going to change everything. He also said that people look to Instagram to be entertained. So as a business, from these announcements, we now understand that Instagram wants more video. Instagram wants you to be entertaining. So to survive as a small business, you are going to need to upskill to be able to create those fun TikTok style videos that we see in Reels, or you're going to need to start working with more creators, which we know is a code word for influencers, right? Because they are the people who are already making great content. They could either create for you or you could work with them to promote your product. I think this is a huge kick in the teeth for anyone who has invested a lot of time, effort, and even money in Instagram. All I can think is that this isn't going to happen overnight. It's going to be a slow transition. But in 2 or 3 years' time, Instagram may be, or even a year's time, Instagram could be unrecognizable from what it used to be. Okay, moving over. Sylvia's answering my question about weight loss ads. I think they're okay. If you don't want to see them, scroll past. It's not complicated. I'd rather make my own choices on which ads to watch than being nannied. You know, you have a point, but I do get annoyed on the TV. I constantly seem to be seeing betting ads. I'm not going to download a betting app, but I find them very frustrating and annoying. And well, we'll talk more about, because obviously this is related to a story this week, so we'll talk more about that. I don't feel nannied, the fact that they don't run alcohol ads in cinemas or in cigarette ads. You know, I don't feel nannied by that, so I don't know why I'd feel nannied about weight loss ads. I think there has to be some control over your ads. Lee is going out for a walk around the lake with your camera. Your phone cam looks great. Would not have known. Okay, that's good. Well, it depends what bigger screen you're looking at it on, because believe me, I was editing myself yesterday and you can see everything. Good morning, Deirdre. Great to see you here. Good morning to Kate, who is drinking a cup of tea. Great stuff. And Deirdre says, for me, Instagram has always been about images and inspiration. You know, we may need to start looking somewhere else for that content if Instagram do make these massive changes. Okay, time for the next story.
Hi, I'm Charlie Lawrence and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
One of the main attractions, I think, of TikTok is that the videos are short. It's snackable content, and you know, if you don't like the video, you can swipe on, but it's also going to be over in a maximum of 1 minute, usually shorter. And you know, that is part of the joy, I think, of TikTok. But this week they have started rolling out 3-minute long videos. They've rolled it out slowly, but they say everyone is going to have the option to create up to 3 minutes of video in the coming weeks. And they say that the reason that they're doing this is so that people have a longer amount of time to share tutorials and tips. Very often a TikToker will share one video and say, follow me on TikTok for part 2 and part 3. This way they'll be able to put them all in one video. But I do wonder, is this not about that at all, but it's more a swipe at YouTube, where, I mean, they have these things called shorts now where you can create a minute-long video, but is it a swipe at YouTube where, you know, longer video form works really well, and that's the space that YouTube own and TikTok are looking at that? Or are they wanting longer videos because they could run mid-roll ads? Which I hate, by the way. I hate. It's interesting. Also, I don't think it's a good idea. Is it a good idea? I mean, again, the beauty of TikTok is that time limitation, that you've got 1 minute to make your point. And believe me, to get a lot of information into 1 minute is hard work. But it also means that you are more creative. You have to be more creative. And that's the beauty of TikToks. You know, people are forced into that short time space to tell a story, and they do it creatively. So I'm not really sure how I feel about this. In general, always be shorter than you think you should be. Long content will just bore your audience, however good it is. Love to know your thoughts on that one too.
Hello, this is Rob Charles, the voice of Mike on Forever FM on Peter Kay's Car Share. BAFTA award winning, I've got to say, but I've not seen the BAFTA yet. Anyway, you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb. Enjoy. I'm on tea.
I can't believe I cut Rob off before he said he was on tea. On Twitter, there have always been two options. You can have a public account or you can have a private account. If you have a public account, all your tweets are searchable and there for the world to see and find. If you have a private account, you are making sure that only the people you have allowed to follow you will see your tweets. Now, of course, people can screen grab and share, but in general, those are your options. You can also switch if you want to. If you don't want to deal with Twitter for a while, you can switch from a public account to a private account, which means, again, your tweets are private just to the people that you have let follow you. But that could change. Twitter are looking at making some big changes to the way that Twitter works. And this isn't like Instagram. It's still going to be recognizably Twitter, but a couple of ideas they're thinking is they may let you have multiple personas. So here is an example of the multiple personas. Within the one account, you'll be able to maybe have your professional life account, you'll be able to have your personal life account, and you'll be able to have your family friendly account. So people will be able to choose which one of those to follow. You will be able to choose the privacy of each, and you won't have to switch between multiple accounts to decide what it is that you're going to tweet, which means each time you'll be able to select which persona you are tweeting from. I do like this idea. I think I want to see it in action before I make a decision on it, but I like this idea. Another idea that they're experimenting with is the option to just limit your tweets to groups of people. So you'll be able to limit a tweet that you send to just close friends, for example. And you will also see those close friends at the top of your feed when you log into Twitter if they've tweeted. I like both of these ideas, but it does remind me of Google Plus Circles. Who remembers Google Plus? Who remembers Google Plus? And Google Plus Circles did exactly this. You would be able to nominate the people you connected with in a specific group. So this was maybe by exactly your professional life separate to your private life, or maybe people who had a specific interest in something. So I would only be tweeting my cat related stuff to people that I know like cats rather than the broader audience. I really think this could work for Twitter. And the reason I think this is because it's something I have been asked about when I've trained people to use Twitter before. They've always wondered, could you tweet a list of people and just leave it private to them? It will also mean that more people will feel comfortable about tweeting when they can tweet just a small group of people. So I love this idea. I think it's going to be huge. I can see we've got lots of comments coming in. Katrina says, I think no matter what platform, the engaging content creators are going to thrive on long form. You see, I don't know. Vine had massive amounts of people doing really well on short form 6-second videos. So I do feel a minute is long enough. But, you know, I may be proved wrong. When I see this new Instagram in action, I could completely change my mind. But what I do see happening is a lot of businesses creating really poor long form video that nobody wants to watch. And that could ruin the addictiveness of TikTok, which for me would be a good thing because I can't even look at TikTok, to be honest. Yeah, Kate, I think you're right. People are going to ramble on. You know, the editing is the most important part of any type of content. And with 3 minutes, you won't need to edit yourself as much. What all Facebook and Instagram are doing are helping me convince me more that our website blog ConvertKit is where I should be spending my time for major content creation and upping our game with YouTube. You know, I tend to agree, but I agree anyway. I think we spend way too much time on social media and not enough time nurturing the other parts of our digital marketing strategy. Hello to Barbara. Great to see you, Barbara. And Lee likes the idea from Twitter. Me too. Would it make you use Twitter more, I'm wondering? And good morning to May King, who is the FOMO creator. And I will remind you now that if you want to discuss this, because obviously my opinion is the only one you're hearing here, but you can come and discuss this with me, May King, and Dan Holloway on Twitter Spaces at 10:30 a.m. It is pinned to the top of my Twitter profile, so do join us for the after chat. May King is rather excited to decide which persona to tweet from, and also groups. Hope Twitter learns from Google Plus Circles, improves on that. You know, I think Circles was a great idea. I think people stopped using them quite quickly. I like the way that they're introducing them rather than it being their selling point here.
Hi, I'm Catherine Mason and you're watching Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Twitter is going to make it easier to switch accounts. If you manage accounts for businesses, there's a really strong chance at some stage, even if it was just for a few seconds, you have tweeted the wrong thing to the wrong account because it's so easy to do. And now Twitter are going to make it harder for you to make that mistake. They are working on, and I think I have a screenshot, they are working on a piece where you go to compose the tweet, you will see the accounts that you can tweet to. So you may be in the wrong account, but you'll easily be able to switch to the right one and make sure the tweet goes out to the right one. This is just like what they do on Instagram. You know, if you manage multiple accounts on Instagram, you'll know that when you start putting your Instagram posts together, you'll have the option of where to post it. And I love that, because sometimes I do accidentally post something to the wrong, or I don't post it, but I may have posted it to the wrong Instagram account. So I think this is great. I think it's a good thing from Twitter, even if they stole it. I think it's a really good idea. I think it's going to help social media managers a lot, even not just from stopping making mistakes, but the fact that you won't have to go and click on your phone between accounts to go and post to various accounts. I think this is a great innovation. Lee says, yes, it would make you use Twitter more if they introduce some sort of thing like Google Plus Circles. And Barbara says, yay, you've finally you've deleted tweets due to sending them to the wrong account. You know, we've all done it. I've done it, you know, and it's even when you double check or triple check, one time you will get caught out and you will send tweets in the wrong place. It's so easy to do, isn't it?
Hi, I'm Lee from Wellshot, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb. Cheers.
Threads, mostly used on, well, only used on Twitter, to be honest, are a way of connecting multiple tweets on multiple posts that are on the same theme. And they're very often used for storytelling. So the first tweet in a thread would introduce it, and then you would add another and another and another. And they work on Twitter. They work on Twitter because we only have 280 characters. So if we want to tell a longer story, you will need to connect your tweets together to be able to tell that story properly. And there's other use cases for threads as well. I do like them. Sometimes they're long and waffly, which brings me back to 3-minute videos on TikTok. But sometimes they're fun and they're interesting to read, and they share important information. Facebook have just stolen the idea. Facebook are looking at introducing threads. And at first, when I saw this, I was like, well, why would I create a thread on Facebook when you can write a really long post on Facebook? And then I thought about times when I may have been at an event, or I may have been covering a story, and you would be seeing multiple posts from me coming up in your feed, and each one of those posts is going to reach a small amount of my audience, and possibly a smaller and smaller and smaller part of my audience as the day goes on. So not only am I overwhelming people, but the content isn't reaching people. With threads, it would be very easy then to keep adding throughout the day or throughout the event the things that are going on, the things that you're doing. And I think this could have a couple of advantages. Firstly, yes, that you're not going to overwhelm people and scare people off with your content. But secondly, that could mean that the same post will repeatedly appear in people's feeds as you add new pieces into it. Now, at the moment, it looks like this test is just for profile pages, but for business pages, this could be huge, because that is where you might be covering events more. I know we've got Lee on here, and Lee does events, photography events in Wales, and she could be, at an event or one of your foreign trips that you do, you could be updating the same post so that people are able to see everything that's going on. And the other benefit, I think, of threads is that people, they don't get interrupted by the comments. The thread will be there and the comments will be underneath, which means it's a lot easier for people to see the full thing that you've talked about before they read the comments. So I would, if I had my big thumbs up, which is around somewhere, I would give this a massive thumbs up. I'm looking forward to seeing how this progresses. Making says, so I was just trying to click the button. I tell you, I've got screens over here rather than here now. It's all very confusing. Another great idea from Twitter to help us tweet from the right account, even if they copied it from Instagram, which they did. You're going to need to explain that to me, Barbara. Having a thread on Facebook might do away with COP. You're going to have to tell me what OP means. You're going to need to tell me what that is, because I don't know.
This is May King from The FOMO Creator, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
TikTok ads are in their infancy, but you know what? They're progressing really fast, and they've added a new feature or a new type of ad called a brand lift ads. Now, if you're a Facebook advertiser, you'll be familiar with this terminology. So what a brand lift ad will do is you'll show your ad, and then later on, TikTok will survey the people who've seen your ad to see if they feel positive about your brand. Do they feel more positive about your brand than they did before they saw the ad? And this could work really well in two ways. Firstly, hopefully you're going to see an uptick in how people feel about your brand because they've seen your TikTok ad. But also it may be a signal to brands that they are creating very bad TikTok ads, that they don't fit into the TikTok ecosystem. So it is a good way for brands to maybe adjust their strategy to know what works and what doesn't work. And as we know, this has been a thing for TikTok. They're very keen to get advertisers to make TikTok style TikToks as their ads rather than sticking out like a sore thumb ad. I like this. It shows that they're taking advertising seriously. You know, I don't use the brand lift objective in Facebook because to get a survey, you need to have a big budget. That's the reason why. But I do think it can be an important way to inform us about, you know, is the ad we're putting out actually the right one for our audience? OP stands for original post. So having a thread on Facebook may do away with see original post. Yeah, I guess if you're resharing it, I understand you now. May King says, great to see Facebook copying from Twitter and using threads on a Facebook post. Perfect for the next event. Yes. And if you don't know, that's what one of May King's strengths is, promoting your next event. So I know you're going to be able to use this really effectively.
I'm Ian Anderson-Gray and you're watching Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Did you know, well I didn't, that in the past year, searches for body neutrality, which I didn't even know was a thing, have increased 5 times on Pinterest. They also say that their audience wants to embrace body acceptance. So they've seen a niche in their audience that really care about these things. And this is all about us being happy in our own skin, not obsessing about weight loss because we know that can be really unhealthy. Now they've discovered this, they've acted on it, and they are banning all weight loss ads on Pinterest. You will not be able to run a weight loss ad that mentions any of those key phrases that go with weight loss on Pinterest because they want it to be a safe space for this niche of their audience. And I think this is a really great example. It's not massive news. I'm sure none of you are running weight loss ads already. You know, people want to lose weight. I understand that. I am currently a victim of a weight loss ad because I am using the Noom app, which I'm finding fabulous, to help me control how much food I eat, because that's a problem for me. So I'm not against weight loss ads, but I think this is a really interesting way to look at it because people do feel under pressure and miserable and their mental health suffers when they obsess about their weight. But what I think is really interesting is the way that Pinterest has addressed it. One, this makes them stand out from their competitors. They are not like Facebook. They are not like Twitter. They're not like Instagram. They're not like any other place where you see ads. They are a safe space. They found this niche and they're tapping into it. What I think is going to be interesting is to see how the others react. You know what? That's all the digital marketing news for this week. I will not be back same bat time, same bat place next week. I will be on Twitter Spaces at 10:30 a.m. Check out my pinned tweet for how to join that with May King, who is just amazing. and Dan Holloway, who is also amazing, and they may have completely contrary opinions. And if you want to come in and voice your completely contrary or same opinion, you can join in, ask to speak. We'd be delighted to have you. Next week, I'm on me holidays, so I will not be here, but I will be back, same bat time, same bat place in 2 weeks' time. See you then.